Greetings, fellow patricians. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion. Episode 9, Horreum. So I kind of wanted like a garden in the middle of the dining area, the triclinium, as I think it will look nice. And I'm planning eventually to maybe put a tree in the middle, but we don't have tree sowing. So for now, I'll queue up daylilies to be planted in there, as well as roses. But I don't think I'm going to be sowing it just because I don't have the manpower to make it pretty like that. But it's one of those, like, eventually I'll get around to it. Ooh, Elba with a shoot frenzy. Are you... yeah, cutting stone blocks? Cool. Alright, so those, that's the room itself. But of course, that does not include any of the necessarily required furniture. So, let's start manufacturing some of that. I think... I'm thinking about how I want to lay this out. I might want to do... some tables like this. And then for now, just because we're a bit poor, I'll do marble stools with the hopes that I increase the quality at some point. I don't think I need a conversion ritual because I just saw Marullo is very close to being converted. So I'm going to use the convert ability. And Marullo is now believes in the Senate. So we can start to recruit. Because you all had said that that he becomes a citizen. He? Yes, he. He becomes a citizen. Use jade pillars for around it? Yeah, that's a good idea. Once I have the materials for it. I'm gonna tell my my slave here to do a little cleaning. Things are getting a little dirty, a little messy. And then, for now, I'm just going to move the recreation items in there. With the idea that eventually we'll have, like, proper recreation in the bottom half. Sometime down the line. Cheers. Now, with that said, we might want to, if and when we vote for prisoner and slave quarters, we probably don't want them dining in our dining rooms. We'll want to keep them separate. I think that is somewhat reasonable. I was hoping to have Marullo join us before the Lupercalia, but I'm not going to wait. Their recruit resistance is rather high, so I don't think it's worth waiting for. Alright, we're mostly just cutting granite, so I'm going to suspend granite so that we can work on marble to finish up the dining room. Question for you all. I'm going to pull... So, building the triclinium is going to be improving the triclinium. But essentially, it is going to be the same pole as before. So, here it is. What to work on next? Give you 5 minutes. So I've added dining, or I'm in the process of adding dining, and once the dining is done, if you want actual recreation in there, which is to say poker tables and billiards tables, I can add them in if you want me to improve it. But that's up to you. Alright, it looks like the ducks and horses have, how many animals do I have in here? 6? I have 7 beds. Okay, perfect. The other thing I'd like to do is, right now it's pretty seasonal, temperature-wise, but eventually have heating in here as well. When we're dining, we shouldn't, freeze to death. That isn't an unreasonable demand. Also, hygiene. Fertilizer area. Let's go ahead and add the entire inside barn as a fertilizer area. Or the greenhouse as a fertilizer area. Even the spots that we aren't currently sowing, because when it gets fertilized, we'll add. Okay. So we have our dining room. It's very impressive, which is a pretty good little start, I'd say. It's clean, it's spacious, it's beautiful. It exhibits a decent amount of wealth. And given time, it will become even more glorious. Making sure that we're not destroying the plumbing with that canceled. But yeah, alright, the old barn is going to be gone. Good. Scipio with Inspired Trade. Well, with any luck, we'll have a trade caravan come in. The last 2 left before I could trade with them because it was simply just too cold. So hopefully the next one actually gets to stick around. And the resistance of Murillo is down to 12.5. So taking a look at the polls and the way it is shaping up, it looks like the next goal that we're going to do is a stockroom. And knowing that we're going to build a stockroom, I am going to drive our members to cut granite over marble. Because I don't need a marble stockroom. That's a bit excessive. And I'm certainly not going to make it out of wood. Because, flame, fire, etc. So I'm not going to call the poll early. I'm going to leave it up for another minute and a half. But I'm going to start preparing for the likelihood that it's a stockroom for our goods. Because this needs to get phased out. This is a mess. I easily can acknowledge that. Another thing that would be nice, I think, is if we had a shelf for eggs. That was closer to the kitchen than this shelf, so that we could cook these eggs up faster. So these shelves are important, so I'm going to make a new shelf for, important eggs. A trade. Kid pants for bows, a wooden helmet, or sculptures. No. I'm really not taking any trade requirements just yet. We don't have a craftsman district, so I'm not interested in, you know, fulfilling craftsman requirements without an actual craftsman district. And then your expectations here. Your intense pain because of really bad stab scars. Oh my goodness. Well, there's really not much I could do about that pain there. Your awful barracks is just going to be awful. There's not much I could do about that either. At least not for now. Alright, so we're going to build a Horreum. Got it. Updating the priority. So taking a look at the layout of the colony here. The stockroom ought to be somewhere away from the entryway so that it can't be stolen from easily. But it should also be somewhere where I can place a craftsman district adjacent to it. And I don't think this area around here is honestly pretty decent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mine into the mountain a little bit, just to reveal, without going into the overhead mountain zones, and build the stockroom kind of up and into the mountain as much as I can. So Darius is going to pivot from construction to mining and figure out where exactly our stockroom can go. Is there a temple yet? There is not. In fact, that would be a really good thing to add to the list of goals. So, thank you for the idea. And I'm adding it. Privacy. So you'll be able to vote on that next. Yeah, this dining room is definitely working. Definitely working for us. Our moves are like 100 across the board. The other thing that I didn't transfer over is a marriage spot and a party spot. We'll move those down too, so we can actually get married and party in the right area. And the, technically we have a temple, which is like our kitchen. It's weird and temporary. Once we have a full-fledged temple, you know, that will move, obviously. So one of the advantages of shaving into the mountain like this is, we'll also get locally sourced chunks. Well, maybe. It looks like Darius has not been successful in actually getting chunks from this mine. But, we'll get some chunks out of this to make stone cutting a little bit easier, too. So instead of making like a perfectly rectangular building or something like that, I'm going to build it organically into the mountain and not worry about having it be, you know, everything perfectly rectangular or square or anything like that. The first batch of fertilizer's coming out in about a day. It's a good milestone. Alright, the new egg shelf here is not in use. So let's merge and haul. So this is, oh, this is critical. Oh, okay. Yeah. Clear all. That was a dedicated egg shelf. Now I'm moving it. There we go. Now it'll be a lot easier to cook the eggs into meals. Oh, the other thing that I realized that I had not yet done is the... oh no, Sippy is unperishable. So I guess I never actually put her on travel foods. I forgot to. So apart from the slept in the heat, which, like, I can't do too much about given this temporary quarter, we're meeting a lot of his expectations, which is good. So the mare gave birth to a male. Well, that's good. So we'll just get that male out of there, put him in the other barn, and then we'll have a lot of animals. You know, we'll have a lot of horses so that we can have our centurions and legionnaires on horseback for movement speed. So I think I am pretty satisfied with the Horreum being around this area here. So let's go ahead and lay down some walls. So I think what I'll do is I'll line it up something like that. It's pretty expansive and will allow for a lot of storage without having to resize it sometime in the future. Because I intend for this facility to go away in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the stockroom with the idea that that the storage room is being, you know, being phased out at some point. All right, the floor in here is going to be flagstoned up, and that's a lot of flagstone. That's about 1,000 stone that we need to source. And then the walls too. And eventually what's going to happen here is there's going to be... Or you know what? So the thinking is, do we continue this road all the way up like that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way. So let's move this over. And then our slave will just move his bed a little bit. Wild woman wanders in. A wild woman named Blue. A masochist kind slob who can cook, plant, craft, tend animals. Whatever we end up doing with her, I'm happy to try to tame her. So, yeah, let's see if we can add to our numbers. So this whole structure is going to be granite, meaning that we're going to have a lot of granite cutting needing to be done. I'm also going to queue up, if there's too many people on the stonecutter bench, granite chunks to be hauled. Now, there's another way to do this, which is important to note about our rules. One of the other ways that you can do this is that you can set it up so that you go to an adjacent tile with a bunch of, like, hauling animals, and then you pack up all the granite in that, like, temporary map tile. So if we went to, like, a mining tile or something like that, and brought the granite chunks home. I'm just not going to do that because we, as the backstory goes, purchased the land rights to this area, meaning that under normal circumstances, we don't own anything beyond, you know, our current area. So we're not going to claim, you know, territory beyond our immediate vicinity. .1. So resistance is pretty low. It's getting moved. The research for the septic tanks is nearly done. The reason why I pushed for that is when you leave fecal matter on the floor of the bathrooms in their domus, the bathrooms become awful to use as they're stunk to high hell. So having a septic tank or septic field to prevent the bathrooms from becoming absolutely heinous is going to be pretty important for, you know, pond mood. So that these awful bathrooms can bounce back from awful back to, like, mediocre. A bulk goods trader. Hopefully this bulk goods trader gets to stick around. And Scipia has an inspired trade, so they're coming in with yaks, and yaks have milk. And we wanted something to be milked. Also, they have a dromedary, which can be milked as well, although not the male ones. So, yeah, I'll probably end up buying the yaks. Would have been happy with cows, but yaks will work. All right, Scipia. Let's get to it. Dromedaries have been on the older side? Yeah, so the yaks, let's take a look. Life expectancy 22 and they're 15. Okay, so the yaks aren't too old. So I'll buy a breeding pair of yaks, and we're probably going to want them to... I don't have anywhere to put them. I don't have a yak pen, because my pens right now are gender segregated. So there isn't really a place to put both yaks because of the gender segregation of the pens. So we're going to want to ungender segregate in a specific area for the yaks. But I can figure that out later. I don't need to figure that out right now. And then while they're here, let's go ahead and part with some of our random leathers that I don't necessarily need to cover the cost of buying the yaks. And that looks about right. Cool. Let's see here. I am going to, because everything I've set up so far is like really, truly very temporary. I'm going to just continue setting up a very temporary yak area. The good news is we now have animals for riding, animals for eggs, and animals for milk. We don't have wool, but wool isn't, I would say, especially given that our map tile isn't too inhospitable in the winter. I don't think wool is that high needs, unless we have slaves that can't weather it. Oh, the other thing I meant to look at is whether or not they came with blocks. Because if they have already cut stones, that would be really handy. I don't see any. Oh, I don't need bird skin. Actually, let's get rid of the camel hide too. I'd rather have the silver. But no, they don't have any cut stone. Okay. Dismissed. Bye. Thank you and bye. So we're putting the yaks at the hitching spot, which is a very temporary solution. I'm going to have Doris here stop building the Horreum to build a yak pen. Because the yaks are going to need somewhere to actually be. So the yak pen's going to take temporary priority. Oh, Ambrosia Sprout number 3. And Septic Tank's just finished. Alright, I'm going to probably have you guys... I'm going to analyze the research options, but I'll probably end up having you polled on it. I'm not going to say yes for sure, but that's my notion at least. So taking a look at the options here. Yeah, I would say there's nothing absolutely urgent, meaning that I can ask you guys. So what to research next? We could do Psycho Brewing. Beer Brewing. So those obviously would be chemical recreation items. Passive Cooler. In case we get a heat wave. That helps to negate heat waves. We could do pemmican. If you want me to be able to use excess meat for preserved provisions. Devil Strand. If you think arms and armor is necessary. Recurve Bow for the same reason. If we need a better bow. I'm going to hold off on tree sewing for now. I'm going to hold off on carpet making. I'm going to hold off on saunas as well, at least in the meantime. I'm going to include art as a general umbrella for pottery, carvings, artful displays, etc. If you want to add art, or cooking. So if you want to have condiments, grilling, stewing, any of that, that cooking will be an umbrella for all of that. I'll have you guys vote on that for 2.5 minutes. There we go. The yaks have somewhere to be. So this is going to be animals for yaks. And because we only have 2 yaks, I don't mind them breeding for now so that we get more yaks. Yak pen didn't take very long. I used the, I used some of the geography that we already had in place so that I didn't need to reinvent the wheel. A Manhunter pack of lynxes. Oh, this is the second time we've had lynxes. So, cue to hunt. Stay inside. Close the gate. If you haven't voted yet, I welcome you to do so. You have about 1 minute left in the polls. And the yak barn is almost done. We just have yet to put the radiator in. Once the radiator is in, I'll go ahead and queue up other tasks. And then the other dire Lycan is resistance 6.7, with most needs kind of being met. So I can start to allow perishable meals because we intend for him to become a full-fledged citizen, meaning that he doesn't need to be on slave meals like How You is. I'm not too worried about the... Oh, and here's fertilizer. Elba, thank you for that. So that brings me to one other task that I meant to do, which is to set up a septic tank up in this area, so that the toilets don't get manually vacated. That should make them a lot nicer. Not only do we have lynxes, we have guinea pigs. Nature's really teaming up on us, aren't they? And yak number 1 is already pregnant. Alright, you guys want cooking. Got it. So I am going to research grilling. Thank you for voting. Is the wild woman still out there? Yeah, she is. Okay. She's probably just high on ambrosia. Yeah, she is. Because we picked it, but we never hauled it. So maybe I'll make an effort to high priority haul the ambrosia that's out there, so she's not just high as a kite and addicted to ambrosia once we get her to become a citizen, slave, or prisoner. Did my internet issue on Sunday get fixed? Not yet. Still working on it. Alright, we are safe. Oops, did that backwards. There we go. And open up the gate. Alright, Elba, let's go ahead and take this ambrosia away. We don't need blue to blow through all of our drugs. Oh, inspired recruitment of Scipia. So Scipia will be able to instantly recruit Marullo, given the inspiration. So I'm going to take Doris off of wardening, so she's the only warden. So the next time she talks to Marullo, Marullo gets raffled, meaning raffle timer's above my head, and good luck. Any subscribers that chat in the chat between now and when that timer is out becomes eligible. Also, a little reminder that I welcome you to come up with Roman-inspired names for the sake of roleplay. So I'm very carefully watching this tame attempt, because Blue could try to turn on our slave and resist being tamed. Luckily, Elba is in the area. Okay, so it failed, but, you know, attempts were made. For now, I'm not going to allow the resowing of the Tinctoria or hay zones. I would like to try to figure out how to hit an equilibrium. But we do have a lot of corn. We have 2,500 of it. A nice bumper crop. And maybe what I'll do is I'll take Bebo off of cooking for now. To see if our slave can keep up with all the cooking needs. So that she can just be in the farm. Alright, the septic tank has been constructed. And for now, because we have so much fecal sludge, I'm only going to drain it at 90%. Actually, I'm going to say do not drain. So that we can not drain the toilets. And let's make sure that the toilets are all hooked up to plumbing. So these aren't. There we go. And they're all plumbed now. Which means there won't be sludge, like, coming out of the area anymore. Because we have a septic tank that will... So the way these work is you can manually drain it and it will create the sludge here. Or it will slowly filter the sludge out the way a septic tank would work IRL. He is going through the granite. Well, that's good. Wow. Nutritional growth and consumption is like the same in this pen. That is unusual that it's just that perfect. Oh yeah, the slave bed should be a bed. Yep. Oh, Darius is throwing in a party. Good. As if we need better mood in the colony, but these guys are like, just looking for any old celebration, I guess. I'm all for it. If they want to celebrate, power to them. And here we go. Recruited. So now that we have a new recruit, we don't have a place for the recruit at the moment. So for the moment, Marlo is going to sleep in the kitchen because it is the nicest room that we have accommodations for. Because I don't have a dumbest for him, at least not yet. It also means that we're going to need to offer him the ability to use a latrine. And let's go ahead and set him up with work priorities. So animal handling, I'm actually going to have him be the only animal handler. The reason is if he pisses someone off, well, he's a dire Lycan, so he'll be just fine in defending himself. And I think I am going to hook him up with the bow, despite the fact that he's really high melee, because more shooters is better. At least that's what I'm going for now. Raffle timer's up, so good luck. It's raffled off to Major Mildew, which is funny. Major Mildew, if I am not mistaken, you are also this slave. So let me know if you want to be the colonist or the slave. I'm assuming you're going to want to be the colonist, but I'm not going to make that decision for you. And then Marlo, I'm going to put you on a night owl schedule, unlike the other two dire Lycan who are on a regular schedule. And hopefully you won't keep flirting with Scipia, because that's going to cause some problems. And our rhino self-tamed. All right. Well, yeah, it's free butchering. Okay, I think we have a decent amount of hay now. Good God. And we have Blue. So Blue doesn't believe in our ideology. So Blue is going to have to get arrested. There's no two bones about it. But I'm going to have you guys decide what to do with Blue. So here's the poll for Blue. Again, I remind you that it's... As much as you all might want to vote for everyone being like a citizen or whatever, if the trend continues, I will start to overrule. I'm just warning you ahead of time because, you know, our citizens should be ones that that deserve it. Actually, yeah, leave that tribal wear in there. Critically important that a, let's see, 75 plus tribal wear gets left in there. Quest available, the revered helmet of Mars. Sure. Sounds spicy. Alright, Major Mildew, did you respond to me? You want to be the citizen? Cool. So there is a channel point redemption if you want to name yourself. I'm going to re-roll the other one. So the other one is going to go to Lilac. So Lilac, you are now the slave. And Major Mildew, you are the citizen. And if you want to use the channel point redemptions to name yourselves appropriately, feel free. The other thing it looks like I am going to need is clothing appropriate for the new guy. So let's go ahead and make pants and a button-down shirt Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna wake him up and just force wear the toga for now. There. That fixed that. Yeah, you can see sunlight sensitivity. Dire Lycan don't like the sun. They really don't. They're not like vampires or anything. They just are very photosensitive. Their eyesight very photosensitive. All right, so the button-down shirt. I have no idea actually who made that. What I wanted to do is have Elba make it, and make it specifically out of let's say plain leather. Do until we have one of them that is 91 plus. I think I have 90 plus. 90 plus. And then we'll do pants. Same deal. Do until we have one of them. Make it out of plain leather. 90 plus. And buy Elba. Alright, Blue's now wearing clothing, and you were going to get converted. And it seems to me like you are going to be enslaved. So she's going to be like a cook and farming slave. Probably not crafting. So got it. Updating the priority. Build the stockroom and enslave Blue. So she needs to convert and then be enslaved. That is the order of operations. Oh, don't do that. This is outdoors. And the stockroom is nearly done being flagstoned and walled up. A pretty huge percentage of it is done. Masochism is kind of useful trait on a slave. Yeah, especially if they have wounds. So allowed food, slave meals. Allowed medicine, doctor care, no meds. And yeah, hopefully we're making slave food here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion, which originally streamed live on Twitch, September 9th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow legionaries.